Has everyone had a chance to take a look? Does anyone have any questions, adds, omissions for the month of August? I take that silence as a no. Can I have a motion to approve the August 2020 board minutes, please?
Motion to approve the August minutes.
And a second.
Second.
And similarly for September. Does anyone have any questions, edits, omissions, additions to the September minutes? Both of which were well done by two different people, Maud and Caitlin. May I have a motion to approve the September 2020 board minutes?
Motion to approve.
And a second. Okay, very good. Well, as always, it sort of feels like we haven't been able to get a lot done because we can't see each other that much, but I think Linda's been doing some stuff behind the scenes, and it's over to her for her report.
I don't know, I did not, I apologize, I didn't send out a formal director's report just because it is a little loose and it's sort of hard to say why, not really why we're as busy as we are, but under the circumstances, it's just a different sort of busy.
Yeah.
The things that we are doing, obviously, to try to stay connected and provide what we can for some sort of virtual or outdoor activities, which we are doing, continuing with transportation, as you know, and outreach services. Before I forget, I will mention too that at the last meeting it came up that it would be nice to have you meet Erica Soares, our new social services manager or social worker for the town. And she could not make tonight, but she is planning to be with us for our November meeting. So we did make that connection with her. We are planning to produce yet another newsletter for November and December, and do feel if anyone has any suggestions, but you know, this, not to say they all haven't been, but it's a good opportunity leading into the winter to really provide some communication to our recipients. You know, just as we enter the winter, we're getting a little bit more nervous that we've been able to do some things and see some people or talk with some people anyway, face to face for the warm months, and we may not be able to do that for the winter months. We do have the Unipay electronic payment option available online, but it is a little bit hard to find unless you go to the Council on Aging page. So right now, that's the best suggestion. I'm trying to get it added to the online services page, which would be direct from the ScituateMA.gov homepage. But otherwise, you need to go to the Council on Aging and click on the link. I can send a link direct to anybody or post it in anything, but otherwise that's the best place to find the link. And we've had just a little use of it, but it works. So far, so good.
I have a question on that. We talked a little bit offline, but I'm going to, so if somebody wants to pay by credit card a $15 fee for a yoga class,
Yes.
is it 15 plus a $7 fee?
It would be, so that wouldn't be the best use.
Yeah.
You know, originally I almost only thought we'd just
Every
use the
transaction on a credit card would be with a $7 fee.
Right. I mean, you could do multiple activities,
Yeah,
all collected into your cart, and then you're only paying the $7 fee once.
right,
So that's the good news.
right.
Or you could be making a generous donation and only pay $7. But yes, it wouldn't be the best use of your money to do a $15 fee, unless it was the electronic checking account, in which case it's only a quarter. And that's
Which
fine.
would be an electronic transfer from your personal account to the account. The town
Checking account is easy. That's easy.
Okay.
So we, you know, we put the credit cards on there because, hey, you know, it might serve some people's purposes, but it is expensive.
It's just, yeah. Susan, do you have a question?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I have used the Unipay system to pay, you know, like the excise tax and things like that. It is a little bit cumbersome to use it. But if you do it by check, pay, a bank pay on, your bank service provides online, it's only 25 cents. But my question was, with everything going virtual, a lot of organizations are using Venmo now. Even the church has set up to make donations that way. And I was wondering, I know that obviously it's a town operation, but so I didn't know if that's something that would be feasible, because it would make it a whole lot easier for people. And you can pay small amounts, it doesn't cost anything.
You know what, this is our first, foray into it, and we've been waiting a long time, and it's nice to have it. So as opposed to delaying things any further, let's say to see if we could ever set up what my senior center would like us to use. In other words, they only have the service with one bank. So, so we opted not to do that. I don't even know if we could do that, if that would work out with our finance department or treasury. So this is what we can get right now. And
Okay.
I don't think Venmo's necessarily possible. We'll work on that. We'll work on that later. But right now it's something that we didn't even have before, so it's great.
Okay.
A little bit that we can offer. Anyway, I did get some information from the electronic survey. I had about 40 respondents from the survey. And, I had just posed the option who would be interested or willing to come into the senior center for any activities, or the Harbor Building for any activities, or the gymnasium for any activities. Funny enough, half the respondents would go to the Harbor Building, but, less than half would come here, and, a little bit more than that, a little bit more than half would go to the gymnasium. And a lot of them were pickleball people. And, I've had visits from the pickleball people and phone calls from the pickleball people. So we are working on, or I guess we've just decided we'll try an indoor pickleball beginning October 23rd, one day a week. I know the recreation is also starting their program indoors. I just was a bit reluctant. We can talk about that again in a minute. We have the option of using the gymnasium, and we've just started using the gymnasium for Zumba class, but then we had to suspend it for 2 weeks because there was a sort of a contact tracing issue. So it made us a little nervous, but the gymnasium's big, and we're being proactive in terms of the spacing, and we're going to try it at least for some exercise. The other issue as far as the gymnasium goes is that there's 18 stairs into the gymnasium. So that's not something everyone can or wants to have to do, which is why we're getting an elevator there, but
The elevator's not working yet.
it's not installed
No,
yet,
it's not in yet.
although it is going in.
Yep.
So also on that note, funny enough, Nancy Holt and I submitted a grant application to the Massachusetts Office for Disabilities to request partial funding for the accessibility improvements to the gymnasium and the gym building and the recreation building, which basically almost amounts to everything but the roof. So between the elevator, both entrances, the parking lot, the restrooms, the handicapped accessible restrooms. I mean, it's a hefty project amount that we can attribute to accessibility improvements, even though the maximum funding is maybe 250,000. So we hope we will see that, but we did just submit that this past week or this week.
That's great.
Yep.
I have a question,
Yes.
Linda.
Yes,
I'm
Barbara.
part of an expressive writing group that has been meeting outdoors. And we asked Lisa Thornton, there's only 6 or 7 of us, if we could meet in the old building, masked and at least 6 feet apart. And she said no, that the new regulations are 12 feet apart, so they couldn't fit 6 of us in there. So is that the new?
No, I'll get to that, and I know that was being considered. We're treading lightly a little bit on what we can do, but between the two buildings, the Harbor Building and or the gymnasium, we could work something out if we're comfortable with what we're able to provide for the numbers. Yes. So it might have been no for a minute. You know, we're just trying to figure it out. So we did talk about that, and we are
Okay.
going to try that. So we know there's a few groups like yours who would like to do that. I think it would be more likely the Harbor Building, where we can set tables and or
Have more
chairs
room.
up around the perimeter with, you know, the taped areas delineated. So I think that's our idea. So, sorry if that's the word you had. We are definitely looking at how we can do that for people if they want. Some other good news, we interviewed 3 people for the transportation coordinator position.
Good.
Frankly, they're all great, honestly. Three
That's great.
great candidates. We will be extending an offer. Bob just has to talk to the town administrator for approval, but it would have been great no matter which direction, but one is highly qualified. So very happy about that. That was easy as filling a position goes.
Great.
So we gave, you know, speaking of transportation, 160 rides to, you know, approximately 30 clients. So that encompasses both our weekly supermarket trips 2 days a week and the out of town and local medical rides. Basically, those are what we're counting for transportation. One driver, Mary, as you know, does the supermarket runs the 2 day a week, and Joe primarily does the other driving, the out of town medicals and other local rides as he's able. And, you know, this week I think he might be working 5 days just to cover that. But that's good. We're happy about it. GATRA, interestingly enough, is still working on a modified schedule. So they are not driving on weekends, which I'm not sure I knew until I checked into it. But they are doing about a 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. approximately weekday schedule, slightly modified schedule, just so people know. As far as outreach goes, Shine, we are, you know, still, of course, getting phone calls for Shine appointments, phone appointments. Elaine has completed her training and mentoring, so unfortunately she got assigned to Hull because they had a need, and she is also giving us 1 day a week. So in addition to Rich Durkin, who we have, Elaine Shambari will be able to provide appointments 1 day a week.
I've
Have
already
you had-
started, Linda, I've already started in Scituate. I've got somebody, I'm talking from Humrock, so.
Awesome, I was just about to ask, I wasn't sure.
Elaine, that's
Yep,
great.
Yep.
That's great.
We're glad to
Elaine,
have
how
you.
was the training? How complicated was it? Oh,
I gotta unmute myself, sorry. The training, the training would have been like 12 weeks, 3 hours a week, face to face. We started March 6th. March 13th, everything fell apart.
Right.
So it was a little bit longer because we had to do it all virtually via web and everything. And then, so we completed the training, and then we had to take a test, and
Oh,
then
wow.
were mentored by seasoned counselors until they felt we were comfortable. I don't know if we felt we were comfortable, but they felt we would be comfortable. And now we're out on our own and able to, and of course, go back with questions.
Yeah, I mean, HESCO, the people who, you know, necessarily either mentored or are available for,
Right.
for assistance for you.
My mentor is actually the regional director of HESCO. She's phenomenal. I send her a question and I get an answer back within 2 hours. So it's been great.
I mean, I was a little dismayed to find out there's about a dozen people who just have contacted Norman directly in Weymouth from Scituate. So, I mean, they know him, they know where to find him, and, you know, he's not going to turn them down. You can actually go to anybody. You don't have to stay within your town. But it is nice if we know the number of people who are using the service from Scituate, and we want to be able to help them. So, you know, both Elaine and Rich can be collaborative, and they have Jenny here as well that can help. And, you know, frankly, Jenny would go to Norman if we had a question we couldn't answer it to. But so we are
it's
available. And
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, that's all right.
Susan?
No, I didn't know that you were finished. Sorry, that's the problem with Zoom. It looked like you were finished, but you weren't. Sorry. Go ahead.
But the reason that it's, you know, stepping up a little bit is because of open enrollment, which starts October 15th and runs through December for, you know, primarily the Part D prescription drug program. And although Rich and I'm just assuming Elaine, are happy to work with someone over the phone, you know, in the past, we tried to get them the forms to complete so that our counselors could kind of do it offline and then provide them with any information. So that may or may not still be the case. It may be easier just to do it
We are
over the
working
phone.
forms offline and asking for them to be filled out.
Yeah.
And so that we can do it virtually more
Yes.
quickly.
Yes.
It's not a requirement, it's just a nicety, so.
Yeah, it's a little bit more convenient if
Yep,
we can
yep.
arrange the paperwork pickup and the completion of the forms. Yep. Okay. Very good, Elaine. Thank you. It's nice to have you here to back me up on that. That's very good.
Susan, wait, Susan?
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing to this, just, you know, public awareness or whatever. And this is the reason why I was asking you, because I'm on a task force for the state. And one of the things that came out was, you know, trying to get people to volunteer as a pathway to employment. The initiative is about employing older workers. And so the SHINE executive director, assistant director, and the training director came to the task force meeting and told us about this. They have 20 slots that they're looking to fill for volunteers who will also get some training, not the same level of training that you got, Elaine, but will actually be volunteers, and they'll be doing like the data entry and customer surveys, and they'll also be trained on the plan finder. So I just wanted to mention that, you know, Linda, because, you know, if there's anybody that's looking to do, you know, some volunteer work,
Mhm.
this is a great opportunity to get some training that could ultimately lead to a position. So,
Mhm.
yeah, so they're not going to start the training for these 20 volunteer slots until the 23rd because of the open enrollment and the crunch that they're all in. But I just thought I would mention that. So,
Very good. Thank you. Well, I guess along the same lines, funny, tax assistance, for instance, I have not been able to get any, almost literally any response from AARP for even several years when I have inquired about trying to get a tax assistance volunteer to work in Scituate or through Scituate or for Scituate. But I recently tried again and did get an email that they would respond to me, that they would look into it. They were routing it to the correct person to talk to me. And that would be very nice if we were able to get that direct
that'd be
here.
great.
Because usually we had to send people to Marshfield or Hingham where they had AARP tax
For a
volunteers.
tax question when you're filing your taxes.
Yes, they would do taxes, people 65 or over. Yep.
That'd be great.
Also, our own tax work-off program, which really virtually was suspended completely in March because they weren't having any volunteers work in any of the capacities that were on site. And really that just never got picked up for the most part until recently, now that people are treading into some other areas. I mean, we have a few people that had worked enough hours so that they could submit something if they wanted. They also have the option of just rolling those hours over into next year when we assume we can have them, you know, working toward the 100 hours again. But I mention it because I will for 2021 have a couple of big jobs for tax work-off people. So suddenly it'll be like feast. I'll need more people, and normally I have trouble placing people. But they're talking about a visitor center and wanting seniors to man that visitor center that has, is just in development and just going to the Board of Selectmen. But it's a great idea and something that we would have sort of docents, I guess maybe you'd call them, senior docents. And then also something I was going to mention later, but just some help I might need at the new senior center site. So I'll bring that up again. But there's also other jobs.
How many jobs are there, Linda?
Well, that's
not counting the two you just mentioned.
no, that's a variable. We never know. I can take as many as 25, applicants for the program, but I don't, and that's relatively new, but I have never placed 25. I have placed, in the vicinity of 14 to 19 or 20, maybe 20.
You've gotten over 20.
So there's no guarantee, and it varies year to year. Maybe one year I have this particular job because it was a project need, but not the next year. So it's very fluid. It's very fluid. And, honestly, even the last couple of years, I've probably placed 4 people at the senior center, more or less, which, has been great, has been fine. That could probably increase when we have the new site. So
Good.
Just saying, sometimes it's been hard to have the other departments commit to having somebody for 100 hours. The library, for instance, or the building department. The town clerk always has someone, and she was able to get in 80 something hours before March 13th. So that was kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. No, it's a lot more than I thought. That's awesome.
Okay. So Jenny saw 38 clients, multiple interactions, but interacted with clients over the phone, a couple of outdoors. She could do a home visit and be outside. Oh, very sad news. So thank goodness we just celebrated Adele Alexander's 100th birthday, which had been in May, but because of COVID, we had delayed actually going to her home, which we did. Thank goodness, 2 weeks ago. And I can't tell you how spry and lovely and, conversant she was. And we had a wonderful visit, and she passed away Monday.
Oh.
So anyway, what a shame. It was so nice. At least I got that picture right into the Mariner, and they did make a very big deal about her celebration. And it was a lovely picture of her daughter Merle and her granddaughter Alexandra. Anyway, very sad, very sad.
That is sad.
Just thinking about ways we were going to, engage her. So sad news. Sorry to hear that for everybody. We did participate in yet a little bit more of a food assistance program through Social Elder Services. This was for fresh produce, so we were able to provide that to 8 or 10 people. But the USDA food boxes, we've done 2 distributions of that to about 15 to 18 people, I guess, on each of the 2 occasions, but those are suspended now. We thought we were going to have it every couple months, but right now we don't have any more of that going on. Fuel assistance is beginning November 1st. The protocol is still pending. They're just trying to limit contact. It's through the Social Community Action Council. Recertifications are a little bit easier to do virtually, but the initial applications for people, they've just got to figure out how to get the paperwork from the people to Social Community Action Council. But again, Jenny's ready for that and has sent out a bunch of recertification packages to people.
Good.
And lastly, I'll just mention, because we've talked about it before, the Lawson Green Development Lottery is scheduled for October 30th at Town Hall, actually. So that is for the 30 units that are behind Central Park, with a pending opening for the beginning of the year, which would have really dovetailed somewhat with the senior center opening if we could do the senior center opening in the winter. So,
What are the prices of those units? It's like a rental.
It is a rental. It is an affordable housing protocol. There's 2 tiers. One is based on 30% of,
Income?
I forget the terminology for the median income, so to speak, in Scituate, and the other is 60%. So there's two tiers, one for more lower income and one for a moderate income.
So what about is that on a monthly basis? Do you know?
No.
Oh.
I do not have that statistic on me. I may have seen it, but I mean, it's not market, you know, much lower than market. They're all one bedrooms. I mean, they're nice units, but I don't know what the rent will be. And it's, I assume, relatively different for the applicants. They have to be eligible, qualified before they were placed in the lottery. Okay, well, programs and activities. So some of you know what we're doing because maybe you're participating. We have continued to do some outdoor fitness and outdoor small group gatherings like book club and knitting and the expressive writing that Barbara mentioned, and even a writing group that writes together. We also had a successful birding program, which was awesome. We had 30 people show at Mass Audubon for, and they were separated into 3 groups with a guide. So they are proposing to do one more before the cooler weather sends us all indoors. So hopefully by the end of the month, that will be scheduled. So
Can I just interrupt to ask? I mean, in general, are you just trying to, week to week, go as long as you can outside?
yes, that's turned out to be the case. We have the option now of using the gym, but we had to have cleaning and disinfecting protocols, and we had to have someone on site who would be cleaning the bathroom. So for instance, Tai Chi on Tuesday afternoon, I didn't have a person doing that yet. Now we do. So honestly, at this point, if we can limp through October, we're happy to do that and then start with the few things that might go indoors.
Yeah.
Those being
That'd be great.
exercise classes in the gym, Tai Chi, pickleball. The Harbor building we're thinking would be better suited to a couple of the writing groups again, because we can space around the perimeter. That's it at this point. We do have some other things coming up that we want to continue to do virtually. The talks, author talks and things. We had one today with Kirsten Hunt Kowalski, who wrote and self-published a really great book. I read it. It was nice. I think, Leslie, you were there. Did you enjoy
Yeah.
the talk by her? A very interesting woman and certainly accomplished. And like I said, I enjoyed the book. So she just talked about her process a little bit and what the story was based on and how she conceived of the idea and how long it took. And it was great. So more of that, if we can find it. We have Bob Jackman, God love him, who continues to produce weekly an hour-and-a-half long narrated presentation, turns video, uploaded, downloaded, side-loaded, anyway, till we get it into your computers. So it's on cable TV and a YouTube link. We do have some entertainment planned for November, virtual entertainment, which I think everybody will be very happy about. A favorite singer in blue. Anyway, so that's something we're going to put out. But the Singing Trooper, who you may remember, he's kind of a collaboration. Cohasset has the same video. We purchased it, the rights to distribute. So we're going to have that on cable, as well as, I assume, a YouTube link in celebration of Veterans Day. So that's coming up. That's pretty much it. You know what? It's pretty light. I shouldn't say that. You know what? I shouldn't say that. What goes into, if you could see, and many of you do, the emails that Lisa has to send out to make sure everybody is not only alerted about activities and where and when, but also if it's the Zoom link that has to go out each week or multiple days each week for everybody. It's a lot of work. We do have, and it's working out for those who have tried it, the My Active Center online registration. So that actually is a very nice, pretty easy utility. There's a little bit of instruction that goes along with it, and someone has to already exist in the database with a scan card or a key tag. So, that's the toughest part. You might have to call us if you don't happen to have one, so we can get you a number, and then you can get set up with an account and just sign up for whatever shows up in the list when you log on. So it's actually a great system, very easy to use.
It really is.
Good,
Susan, do you have a question?
thank you.
No, I was just going to say, can I put my hat in the ring to get a card? I don't have one. And I am a senior citizen.
Hey, we're even mailing them out in a nice little cute little card.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. I want to become official.
Linda,
Um,
Linda, am I muted?
Somebody else have a question?
Pat, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. I was one of the ones that went to the meeting today with the, I got the email from Lisa, and it was a very inviting one, put on a cup of tea and
Yeah.
enjoy this. And thank God you read the book though.
Yes, I know.
This interesting lady, but I also told her that I had wanted to sign up through my active, but then I didn't have the key. She sent me a number. It was pretty easy.
Oh, good. Yes, very good. Yeah, a little rigmarole, but never hesitate to call. I mean, for the most part, yes, Lisa's having an opportunity to do her creative writing, I think, with all the emails she has to send out. It's been kind of fun for her.
That's her writing.
Maybe. Yep, that's her writing. So I might also mention, well, we don't have to talk about the senior center as yet, but so I guess I can hold off. Those are my other.
So I have a specific question.
Yep.
Newsletter is coming out November, December.
Yes.
Should we think about sand buckets?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how,
we may
how,
need
how would
need
we
sand
do it?
buckets. We can do sand buckets. Yeah,
What are
it's a
you
good
talking
idea.
about?
Line up and leave them on the back porch.
I guess we could. I mean, as long as, if the students could just deliver it and don't have to talk or see anybody.
You're
they-
right. They can wear
That's
masks.
how I got mine anyways. I didn't see anyone. It was like the sand bucket fairy came to my house.
Very, yep.
So let's
Yeah,
put
that's
it-
true. And although I haven't seen the students, I don't know if you have, JD, but
I'm trying to
You can
chase it down, but
communicate with
everyone's
Megan.
on, like, the two co-presidents are on different schedules. One of them's on Monday and Tuesday, and one of them's on, and then they're remote the rest of the week, and the other one's remote or in school Thursday, Friday, and remote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So they don't even overlap.
it's
So-
complicated. I know. And really, I feel like they just started. I mean, virtually, they did only
Yeah,
start.
I haven't
not even
figured
a month
out how
ago.
to, what they're up
What
to.
are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Interact
Sand-
Club, which is the Rotary-based high school community service club from the high school, delivers free sand buckets to seniors who request sand for de-icing their walkways or perhaps driveways.
Nice.
So we've done it for a few years, and we've
Nice.
taken
That's very nice.
advantage
Yeah.
of
good
the,
work.
of the students who drive, usually in groups of 3 at least, who don't mind going to DPW and filling the buckets with
Yeah.
sand that is specially sort of reserved for us, and then delivering.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
So they just swing by and fill up a bucket and then drop it off, and it's totally free of charge, courtesy of Council on Aging and Rotary Club or Interact Club.
So you're
Yeah.
wondering about putting it in the newsletter so people would know to ask for it?
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
Great idea.
We probably
because
ought
actually we
do
have
this-
to print new buckets. We're out of buckets. So
Okay. I have one I could give you.
we might as well get new buckets.
Yeah, we probably ought to be in November, December, and January, February, really. But
Yeah.
if we get people who want them, we'll get it to them.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
Does
that's
anybody else have any questions for Linda on anything at the moment?
I don't think so.
Susan?
The only question I had was, the last meeting, we talked about the the whole idea of naming the rooms, and you had asked people for their ideas. So is there any further updates on that whole process of?
Well, do you want to
No.
table that until we get to the senior center discussion?
Well,
Oh,
it's in the
shoot,
minutes.
I'm sorry.
It's
We
in the
can do that,
minutes, Susan. It's in the September minutes. They're wonderful,
I know it is. I
actually.
just didn't know if there were any.
It's a
updates.
great list, yeah.
It's a great list. I think ultimately, I don't know if we'd sit around a table and say, okay, this room should be that, this room should be that. I don't know how soon we actually need to purchase the, everything comes up before you realize it has to, but just because of the, what I want to say, contractor stuff that needs to be engraved. For instance, we'll talk about the lettering. I mean, it just needs to be done so much earlier. But I think if we just have them made, we can put them on any room we want.
Right.
But we can talk about it again. Okay.
Thank you.
Well,
Go ahead, JP.
Joan's unmuted and can talk, and Karen's still muted. Why don't we go to Joan? What's going on with South Shore Elder Service?
Well, we still do meals, and this week we gave out emergency meals for snow and all. And now we gave out meals for Monday because it's a holiday.
All right.
And then today we had some extra emergency meals, and some people lost their power from the storm.
Right.
So we took those to them because the emergency meals, you don't have to cook them. Nothing has to be cooked.
Okay.
Nice.
Speaking of,
Good job.
Everyone's obviously got power. Is Scituate still
It's
out of
in
power in some spots?
Well, there were some people in Scituate without power.
Okay.
Yeah.
The numbers were way down this morning.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew as of this morning we still had a couple. Still had some, but I didn't know.
Yeah. I didn't get I don't know what I do with my phone. How great is that?
Very
The
convenient.
last update that I got from the town administrator, it was coming down pretty quickly.
Good. So anything else? Joan, how many emergency meals do you have to deliver? Joan?
Well, we have like 45 people.
Okay.
So everybody who gets Meals on Wheels gets one.
Okay. So it wasn't in addition to normal delivery, it was everyone who gets a meal normally got an emergency meal.
Yeah, they get that's added to the regular meal that they get. And the same with the meal with Monday, which is a holiday, they get a frozen meal with milk and bread and everything extra.
Okay.
Nice.
And how's the delivery logistics? Can you use more manpower if we?
We're right now we're doing great. We've got more than half of our drivers are men,
Okay.
and we're doing good right now.
Okay. Good. Great. Anything else going on? Elder services?
No, that's it. They're still talking about moving, but I don't think that we haven't had a meeting, so not much has happened.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. Karen, what's going on with BOS?
So much. Yeah, like Linda said, it's such strange times. We're all twice as busy as we ever were
Yeah.
because we got to figure out how to do stuff. But in no particular order, I do want to say, talking about food insecurity and need for making sure that folks have food, the numbers go up every week. People in our community, not necessarily all seniors, but actually not all seniors, that are families that are really struggling. And I wanted to just update everyone that we did ask, the food pantry has been poised to go into the B wing, which we talked about, I think, last meeting.
Yes,
We did suggest to them they take a look at the Council on Aging, the existing building, and they did not think that would meet their needs. So we are still with B. Tonight, the planning board, which is my next fun-filled activity, is meeting, and it's slotted at 9:15 is their review of the senior center. They I'm sure Linda will get to this. They did express some concerns about parking and the permit that was issued for the senior center. And then, of course, if we're going to expand the use of that site, they want to have their, they want to review it. So they're going to do, I think they're going to start that tonight. Are you going on that one? Am I going to see you there?
Well, yeah, I don't have to be on it, but yes, it's on for like 9:15. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
so
late
we'll just see if I'm still awake at that point, but that's my plan. They just, so if the food pantry goes into the B wing, the plan is that all the volunteers park across the street at the church. So they will not be taking parking spaces. And right now, and for the foreseeable future, all clients pick up, I think it's twice a week now, but it's a drive-through. So they're not like they come, they get their stuff, they go. And I guess they're looking to do literally like a takeout window. So it'll be like, here you go, and then just keep on. So that's where that is. You mentioned the visitor center. That will be presented in November to the Board of Selectmen for review, but the the Economic Development Commission has been working with a bunch of other people, stakeholders, to find a home. And it looks like that'll be really, hopefully we'll be able to invite visitors back to our community soon. So I'm glad that works in process.
Okay, let me ask.
Sure.
We did have the old visitor center for a year or two in North Scituate.
Which is the indoor Scituate, that great
That
old
same building.
stone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be presented to the board in November. They're doing a lot of homework between now and then because nothing's easy, right? On Tuesday of next week at 7 o'clock, the master engaged. Our master plan got scuttled with the COVID. We were well on the way to completing our 10-year master plan, and the last sort of public meeting before drafting of the plan is now going to be held next Tuesday night. It's a Zoom meeting. You can go on the town website to get the link. I'm very happy that we're going to resurrect that conversation, but it's a different conversation now, what we think our needs are. So that's next Tuesday. Next Thursday, the board is having a special meeting. The majority of that meeting will be to interview candidates for our diversity and equity committee that is brand new. And then a couple other little, things we got to throw on there. The videos that we're doing every Monday, now in conjunction with the school department, continue to be very well received. I mean, it's over 1,000 views every week. And so I just wanted to note to you guys, if something comes up and you're like, wow, we want to get the word out and there's something you want included in those, we can certainly make announcements. It's a great way to reach people. So shout out to the man behind the curtain. I know Seth is filming this.
Okay.
Town meeting will be on November 16th. I think the plan is to have it in the high school gym because we can space people out more. But that is up to the moderator to figure that one out. And I think the last thing I had was we just got notice that not surprisingly, the commuter rail schedule will be reduced. I took the train for the first time in 6 months this week, and I had it to myself.
Yeah, really.
So it's not surprising they would cut back, but that will impact a few people who are now starting to go back into their offices.
Yeah.
That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
just curious if I can ask, since you brought up the food pantry, does that have to go before the planning board as for their occupancy of that, or no?
Not really.
Board of Selectmen.
No, because we're not, it's not a new building, it's not a new use, it's whatever, but they're concerned, I think it'll get wrapped up in the conversation tonight, because they've always been concerned about parking on that site, and to the extent that it would impede the Council on Aging, access and parking. So they don't technically have anything to review about that, but obviously they're engaged and know what's going on. So,
Also,
and
Karen,
we should have those conversations.
if we're doing drive-throughs, there's minimal need for new parking.
Exactly. Yeah, but that needs to be vetted, and they need to be comfortable that it
It's
does.
still traffic in and out. It's still traffic in and out.
But it's moving in and out.
And it's twice a week, and we'll have to, so all those conversations. We haven't even begun to draft a minimum of understanding with them. So, those are things we'll have to talk about. Like maybe we say, maybe the hours, we look at your program, whatever. We have to look at all the factors of the site.
Yep.
So the senior center or the project, is obligated to provide the planning board, which is what they're discussing tonight, a parking monitoring plan that has to be approved for at least our first 6 months of occupancy as part of their original, document of acceptance, I guess, certificate of service. So the first time it was submitted, they declined to accept it, and now it's being submitted and reviewed again tonight as proposed. You know what I mean? 6 days a week, so many hours a day. But in lieu of having, and I'm not sure actually it's in the plan who would actually do the monitoring. So we have a different idea of how we could get that done, but that is a requirement. A second requirement, just to inform you all about it, is that we have to coordinate our schedule of activities and programs and events with the recreation department and the field permitting portion of the rec department. So in other words, that has to be submitted as well, how we're going to organize or coordinate activities between the entities to reduce or avoid conflicts for larger events or busier times of the day. So just that's an obligation or commitment that we agreed to, and that's coming up, is that we have to submit the plan for that so they know what we're going to do. So that is pending.
Yeah.
Both. But tonight at 9:15 is the review of the submitted parking monitoring plan, as well as, I should say, the lettering, location of the Scituate Senior Center lettering. I mean, it's not major, but it does have to be approved.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned to you last time that, the original idea had been on the building facade facing First Parish. And instead we've moved it to the side that's actually adjacent to the driveway. So above the, between the first and second floors, there would be lettering that says Scituate Senior Center, but it would be as you turn in, you would see it on the left, as opposed to the smaller portion of building that would be seen over the stone wall, so to speak. So they're talking about both things tonight.
Is that due to the generator?
Yeah.
The generator's a little tall. Who knew? I didn't know it was an iron giant. I mean, I've never
Oh,
seen
it's huge.
I did not know
Can I
that.
ask a question about the signage?
Sure.
Yep.
Those
Speak up a little bit, Pat, just because I'm having
Yeah, those nice blue signs all over town, like pointing the direction to the lighthouse and all that. Could there be one pointing towards the senior center?
I'm sure there will be at some point. Those are the wayfinding signs. Yes, we haven't been included on one yet, but we could put in a request for that. I just don't know which one or where, or whether it would be at the entrance, which is possible.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, there's one at the middle school and the high school, but that's a good suggestion. I don't know when we would submit for that, but yes, good idea.
Good idea.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Karen?
I just have one food pantry question. Are they taking donations now?
It can only take monetary donations. Just because you can't be, they can't, if they take in food, they have to quarantine it and all that stuff. And they just don't have the space or the manpower. And and want to make sure that the volunteers are safe. So protocol right now, I believe, is, unless it's changed since I asked, is just cash. So, yep.
And Karen, is Town Hall kicking out notifications to the community in terms of openings on boards?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, so those are, I'm glad you brought that up. I have, it's not complete. We started on Tuesday. This is the annual book that have all of the applicants and everything. And each one of these tabs is a different board and committee. And so if I go, unfortunately, I checked this before our meeting to see, Council on Aging has not been put there. So is there a determination on availability? Mr. Chairman, I'll ask you. What's the number of openings on this particular board at the final, do you know, for this cycle?
I don't, but it's 2, 3, maybe even 4.
Three openings for regular board members.
Yep.
And there's potentially 3 openings or up to 3 openings for the associate board members that we added.
Yeah, so we are starting that whole process. We interviewed for, I think 4 boards, 3 or 4 boards on Tuesday night. Historic Commission, the Chamber, I'm sorry, the Charter Review Committee. I'm not gonna remember now because we went to, that meeting was fun. We went to 11:45 that night. And then, as I said, because we had so many, it's a brand new committee and it's a lot of applications. We will have a special meeting just for diversity on Thursday, and then it will go through the month of October. So I'm not sure when Council on Aging applicants will be interviewed, but what I've started to do is send notice to, unfortunately, probably it should have been this meeting, is I've been encouraging applicants to join, at least, you know, if they haven't been, to join in to a meeting before we interview them. So I did that with Charter Review and somebody went, oh yeah, I'm not doing that.
Well, so Karen, this is an old question from this board.
Yep.
I will pose it and or offer it. Would you like us to get involved in this process?
So, yeah, we've talked about this offline a
You can table
bunch.
that as a question, as an
Yes.
offer.
I
Okay,
would
take it wherever you
encourage,
want.
I would encourage you for the day that, you know, for the time when we are interviewing candidates, I would encourage especially the chair to participate in that conversation, and we'll certainly open it up for questions. We don't always take the vote the same night.
Right.
I prefer not to, because then there's that opportunity to sort of say, okay, you know, here are applicants. Do they have strengths that align? How do you feel about the strengths that they bring to the board? The board has always been a little split on how that process goes. I mean, the bottom line, all of the boards and committees are advisors to the Board of Selectmen. And so there's that tension between, you know, we want to make sure that we have a diverse group of people with different skills, but it also needs to be an individual that's going to work well with the people that are already on the board. So I don't think we've talked about this, 2 years ago, maybe we started this conversation.
We have the same objectives: diversity, people with ideas, et cetera, et cetera. So
No, I think it's very aligned. Yeah.
we can help download some of the some of the interviewing process.
Offload, yeah, help
Yeah.
out.
I think the way that in practice, the best way this works, I mean, obviously there are people move into the community that, you know, have no idea. I mean, some of the people that apply are like, oh my gosh, these people are amazing. We wouldn't have known them because they're brand new to the community.
Yeah.
So that's great. But I've found, you know, it's hard to fill there's all volunteers, there's hundreds of volunteers, is finding like-minded people who have a passion for whatever the board is and encouraging them to apply. That seems to work the best. I've done it many, many times. It's like you meet somebody that's already working close to the same space and say, we thought about serving the town in this way.
Yeah.
Um,
How many people did you get?
Unfortunately, I don't have the list in front of me for the applicants, but I will, you know what I'll do is I'll shoot that to you, JD, to just, you know, so you can see who's actually raised their hand. I'll write that down.
Do you know how many people you got who applied for the equity and,
There were at last count 15 applicants.
That's great.
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah,
We
it
need
is,
to-
it will be a very passionate and everybody, and I know probably 70% of the people that have applied, and it's a great pool. I mean, we're gonna have, it's gonna be challenging to put together the board.
I tried to encourage a few. I don't know if you got any older adults, but,
But we need
There
to-
were a couple, yeah, there were
we
definitely.
need that feedback from the community, so that's good.
Mhm. All right, so send JD board applicants. All righty. Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought it was in the book, but the book isn't quite done yet.
I don't know if this is out of order, JD, you can tell me, but this meeting would be Lucille's last meeting because Lucille's two terms are up tonight. So sadly, she's leaving the board. Sad for us, of course, Lucille, but I know. So that's one of our openings is her end of term. Well, I don't know if that's official, JD.
Keep her on mute. Keep her on
I
mute.
tried.
If you can't go crazy.
There you are. Anyway, we will miss you a great deal, but we'll loop her into something else.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't let you get far.
No, it's been a pleasure, really.
Oh, gosh.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Well, we're not letting her get far anyway.
No, actually, I want to talk with one of your staff tomorrow about that
Good.
that service project. You know, there's a need because I'm out there and I hear a lot of seniors, you know, saying, "Oh my God, Suki closed her shop. I need a haircut. Do you know anybody that will come into my house and cut my hair?" And somebody.
Well, we had a staff meeting yesterday where, you know, I talked about it, but I'm telling you, as if on cue, there was a call that should be the, you know, the poster child call of someone needing something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I have a way of someone gave me an idea about vetting, so I'll talk about that tomorrow with either Jenny or Lisa.
great.
And Lucille is the president of Rotary now, too.
Yeah.
Yay!
So she's not twiddling her thumbs. We know that.
Favorite. Thank you, Joan. It's a challenge. It's a challenge these days.
Yeah. It's a different year.
Very
Well,
good.
thanks for-
We'll move to Foss and Elaine, wherever she is.
Oh, gosh. Sorry, Elaine.
I gotta figure out how, okay, I'm unmuted. Foss finally, within the past 2 weeks, had a board meeting, first one since March. We discussed what was going on with the senior center, discussed what we might be able to do to help with funding for certain things, going into the naming conventions, but also we did agree to fund the
Patio furniture.
the
Patio furniture.
installation of an ice machine, which had been left out of the original bid. So we will be paying for that, which I believe is around
Pay for that.
16,000.
Awesome.
Nope.
Excuse me?
No, that wasn't it, but that's okay. That's all set. That's all taken care of.
Okay, through us? Through
No, no, we didn't need you to do that. It was the patio furniture, and then there was something else I'd asked for in terms of.
But
the,
it was the ice machine that I thought you wanted. We are still looking
Yes.
into the patio furniture, but we haven't made a decision on that yet. We are also then looking forward to with the naming convention, as was mentioned earlier. That has been kind of formalized with how much it's going to cost to name a particular room. That has to go to the Board of Selectmen for review. It is scheduled to be there on the 20th. And Gordon and several other people are working on putting that information and presentation together so that they will have it ahead of time. We don't anticipate any pushback on allowing that to go forward. And once that is approved, we will push with a publication, Mariner, Patriot Ledger, whatever, letting people know they can name, not name as in Minot Beach or Peggotty Beach, but if it's Peggotty Beach, they can be the
Sponsor the room.
Yeah.
Right. So that is what we will be promoting throughout the town, and hopefully we will be end timing that at January 31st, because once the bids, the bond is finalized, the money that we generate will not be going specifically to what we want it to go. So that's what we're aiming for. That's what Build a Campus is aiming for. And if FOSS, we have another meeting coming up next week. There are several, one or two rooms that we are looking to be sponsors for. So that would be something that we would be helping to, it will download the costs of the town, but also promote FOSS's involvement with the senior center.
Right.
I think that's the update that I can give you. There's nothing definitive. I mean, I know we did say, I know that Sandy and Pam did tell Linda that we would pay for the senior, not for the senior center. Wish we had that kind of money. Wouldn't it be nice? For the ice machine.
No, not the ice machine, but that's all right. Patio furniture.
No,
That's fine.
we were going to pay for the ice machine.
Okay,
And the patio
okay,
furniture is coming later.
that's okay.
Or I am totally misinformed, which is totally
That's all right.
unsurprising. But that's what I have to report.
Okay.
All right.
Questions, I'm happy to say I don't know.
That's quite all right. That's very good. Thank you, Elaine. Does anybody have any questions for Elaine?
How much the room naming donations?
Say that again?
Somebody wants to sponsor one of the rooms. How much?
We have not published the prices yet. We have to get approval from the Board of Selectmen before we can publish the prices, but it ranges from like 5,000 to, I think the highest was 20,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it
I'm
depends on
going
the
to
room.
have to say goodbye. So
Okay.
Hi, Susan.
we have to leave early. So thank you very much.
Thank you too, Susan. Bye.
So really, it ranges by room, Pat.
It's actually based on room size. Yep.
Yeah. Should we segue to a brief review of the building project, Linda?
Yep. You want to do it or you want me to do it? I have it.
Well, I can report out. I mean, if you've driven by, you're maybe not seeing much anymore because a lot of the work is being done inside.
Mhm.
All the rough plumbing has been completed, I believe. All the rough electric has been completed.
Well,
I
it's
believe.
it's ongoing.
But the rough, not the finish, the rough.
The rough.
They are beginning to put up drywall and obviously windows are in. My understanding is, and I haven't seen it, but my understanding is after a storm a week or so ago, we found some spots where we were getting a little water.
Oh,
So those are being addressed. But
They looked at that today. Yeah.
but everything, a lot of the internal work, the elevators going in, drywall, plumbing, electric, kitchen materials, etc. So we're a little bit delayed on. I think I remember this from just yesterday. The delivery of the exterior brick.
Bricks.
So
The
we've
week
got a
of
little
the
bit of delay
19th.
there by a week or so, so that's not gonna be until maybe towards the end of the month. But that's started and has been tracked, but it hasn't, materials haven't arrived.
So the front facade's being done with the board and batten and the white. People can see the hardy board, like the clapboard, that's being installed, but the thin brick won't start till the week of the 19th, or at least it's being delivered the week of the 19th.
Yeah.
It was delayed. The plantings are coming next week, Tuesday the 13th.
Landscaping, right?
Yep.
Some hydro seeding's already been done, although I haven't been over there to see it, but so we've already got some hydro seed down, which is great because that'll begin to define a little bit better visually some space.
On the, just another update, the HVAC units on the roof, and I guess, you know, we've been asked about the system. It's a very efficient, great system, but anyway, were any upgrades, you know, we had some opportunity for that, so I guess they agreed on the UV lighting that would go into the units on the roof, the ERV unit on the roof. The UV lighting is what's recommended to sort of up the ante for the containing the particles that might be in the air flow. So it's a good upgrade. And also the filters that are being used are going to can be upgraded. So let's say it goes from a MERV is the manufacturer, MERV 8, we can go to a 12 or 13. And so that's going to be a higher grade, higher quality for air filtration. So that was good news.
You, Leslie, Janice, among others, have worked on getting the final bid list out to some bidders for internal materials.
Yeah.
So that's out. And we should get something back, bids back in another week or so, I believe.
By next Friday.
Yeah. So that's out. So in terms of office furnishings and things like that, we've gone out to 3 bidders or 4 bidders. So we should get some of those numbers in soon.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you can think of?
Questions? Comments? Thoughts? Yes. It's good. It's all good. I mean, it's all good news, really. It's all good news. Very happy.
Good. Does anyone have, well, so if no one's got any questions, does anybody have any old or new business to touch on? Otherwise, we might wrap up here.
I just want to say that we need a new secretary.
Yes, we do.
This is my last minutes.
So
Thanks for
I think, yeah, I thought my feeling kind of was, you know, if the Board of Selectmen is interviewing people during the month of October, I was thinking that Lorraine had submitted the applicants this past week, that maybe by the November meeting, we would have new members and then would have that pool to elect from. But otherwise, unless somebody wants to step up here and now.
Well, so we'll need somebody for November.
I won't be here.
Okay, nope, Lucille's out.
You're off the hook, Lucille.
Well, something to contemplate, whoever's left here. Anyway, all right.
No, we appreciate it.
Thank you for noting that, Leslie. I forgot. Thanks.
Anybody else have anything to comment on?
Yes, I just want to say a thank you to Linda and to her staff.
Yes.
Because it's been lots of fun working with them. I love them all there. And I'll be involved with something else, but
Yeah.
it was my pleasure to serve. Thank you.
I'm making a list, Lucille. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And thank you, everybody. Good to see you all.
Thank you for being there.
My pleasure.
Well, I think we're going to close the meeting then with that. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And a second.
I second.
All right. Thank you, Lucille. Very good.
Thank you all. Thanks.
Everyone-
Thanks, Karen, for being here with us. And
Stay safe and masked up.
you didn't know.
All right.
Mask
Good
up,
night,
yeah.
everybody.
All right. Talk to you soon.